Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Now live at 5 o'clock, the Local 4 defenders taking you inside the courtroom. 3 men the feds say are connected to that plot to kidnap the governor. What blew this case wide open.
The feds have sent Michigan $5 billion in COVID relief funds, and tonight in Lansing, no consensus on how to spend it.
All right, Mar, we're going to begin with Governor Whitmer saying it is time to expand the vaccine to people 50 and older with pre-existing conditions starting next week. But that's coming as vulnerable seniors across Metro Detroit are still struggling to get shots of their own. Good to have you with us today at 5. The governor made that surprise announcement today at a news conference about Michigan's roads.
And it comes as a place like Livingston County have only received about 20,000 total shots. Let's bring in Grant Herms live tonight. So, Grant, how's this going to work?
Well, it was an unexpected announcement. The governor says, though, the state is meeting its daily goals, about 50,000 shots a day. And with the backing of the federal government, she thinks we can move into this next phase despite so many stories of people struggling to get vaccinated.
We're deploying Moderna, Pfizer, and the Johnson & Johnson. We want to be able to expand this, and we're in a position to do that.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer making a surprise announcement during a press conference about state infrastructure. The state would start allowing those 50 and up to get their vaccines.
Going to be one of the first states in the nation. It's because we've got this many vaccines on hand. We've been hitting our 50,000 mark for 16 days straight. And with these additional vaccines, we could take it higher.
According to the governor, starting March 8th, those 50 years or older with pre-existing conditions and those with disabilities will be eligible. Starting March 22nd, anyone over the age of 50 can get the shot. Those numbers are way ahead of the state's projected schedule, which before the Johnson & Johnson vaccine had a 50-year-old with pre-existing conditions eligible starting the end of April, and those without pre-existing conditions not until the summer. The new eligibility also comes ahead of those classified as essential workers who were scheduled for their shots in the late spring. It also means expanding the vaccination pool by close to 1.5 million people, when thousands are already still on waiting lists or are having trouble making an appointment at all. And the governor's office today standing by this eligibility expansion. They say they believe there will be enough vaccines to go around. And Kimberly, they want health departments to start prioritizing the most at risk and the elderly first.
Yeah, and speaking of the health departments, Grant, then what are local health departments saying? This is even more pressure on them to get people vaccinated.
Well, they were caught off guard by this today, too. Some places we talked to today said that they felt ready. Other places said they were already stretched thin. We'll have a lot more of that reaction coming up at 6 o'clock.
Okay, we'll talk to you then. Grant, thank you.
Today's coronavirus numbers showing a slight uptick over the past 3 days. 1,536 new cases over the past 24 hours. State also reporting another 5 deaths to coronavirus.
And now to the vaccine, and doses shipped here to Michigan are up slightly since yesterday, with that number sitting at 2.9 million doses. 2.3 million doses have gone into arms.
Capitol Police say they have intelligence of a, quote, possible plot by a militia group to breach the United States Capitol tomorrow. Now, that is the day that far-right conspiracy theorists believe former President Donald Trump will return to power. The Capitol complex remains surrounded with temporary fencing topped by razor wire, and some 5,000 National Guard troops remain on site. From Washington to back here at home, where new evidence is coming to light in court in the plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer.
Everything from when the governor was made aware to how the FBI was tipped off to the so-called Wolverine Watchman. Let's bring in Defender Sean Lay live tonight. Sean, some of this stuff happened prior to the pandemic.
Prior to the pandemic, and Kimberly and Devin, we learned something new about this case every time these guys go to court. Today, a pretrial hearing. The FBI agent in charge of the entire case on the witness stand all day long. He says he had never heard of the Wolverine Watchman until they created a Facebook page and started talking. The state says they have enough evidence right now to label these guys domestic terrorist facilitators.
We have just spent about an hour showing you that there is a conspiracy for politically motivated violence.
State prosecutors saying they have the evidence that these 3 men, Pete Musico, his son-in-law Joe Morrison, and Paul Bellar of Milford, not only formed the group Wolverine Watchmen, They call themselves patriots. The FBI calls them domestic terrorists. But the men openly used Facebook to recruit other members who were anti-government and who called Governor Whitmer a tyrant for state COVID shutdowns. The men thought they were texting in secret on an app called Wire. The FBI says expressing violent thoughts like this.
I swear to God, if this is true, I'm going to Molotov her house.
But an FBI informant was on the inside capturing all of their communications. But early on in 2020, the FBI says they hadn't even heard of the Wolverine Watchmen until one of the men created that Facebook group. And the FBI says early on, the hatred towards Governor Whitmer grew so hot, they had to alert her security team at the very start of this investigation.
I made contact with the commander of the governor's security detail and advised them of the mission of the Wolverine Watchmen, the hatred for Governor Whitmer, as well as law enforcement and others defending the Capitol.
So the FBI agent in charge of the case says Governor Whitmer was alerted from the very start of this investigation, not towards the middle or towards the end. We also learned today the FBI followed their every move, including into the city of Detroit last summer for Black Lives Matter protests, guys. They said members of the Wolverine Watchmen came to town armed to protect protesters in case Detroit police attacked them in some sort of confrontation. So that was something new that we learned about them. But again, this is a pre-trial hearing to see if these guys will go on trial. It will continue tomorrow. Back to you.
Really interesting. So, Sean, what happens next?
Well, the defense, they just ended today, and tomorrow, 3 defense attorneys for these 3 guys, they're going to put up a fight, saying this is a lot of talk without a lot of action. But coming up at 6 o'clock, the key to the whole thing is the FBI's confidential informant, and we learn more about him in court today, about how he reluctantly got involved. Very interesting stuff at 6.
Okay, we look forward to talking to you then, Sean. Thank you. Michigan has $5 billion in federal COVID relief dollars to spend.
Tonight, the GOP-led legislature has a series of bills spending it, but a large piece of that $5 billion pie comes with some serious strings attached. We bring in Mara McDonald tonight with where things stand on a big battle, Mara.
Well, Devin, I think it's like the old song goes, stop me if you think that you've heard this one before, because here's what is at stake. The GOP-led legislature is saying we're going to appropriate a certain amount of money, almost all the $5 billion, but we're going to leave $1 billion hanging out there in the ether, only appropriating it if Governor Whitmer is willing to give up some of her state powers. What to do with $5 billion in COVID relief funds from the feds? Tonight, the GOP-led legislature has a series of bills that move that money. For example, 2 of the $5 billion goes to education, which means an additional $450 per student, as well as millions more for summer school, student mental health, things like that. But here's the catch for the governor. About $800 million of those dollars are tied to Whitmer agreeing to moving powers from the state health department, and essentially her, to local health departments when it comes to deciding in-person classes and high school sports. Does she have the ability to veto it? Yes. But then you have $800 million just hanging in the balance. Then you have another $2.3 billion that gives million in aid to businesses, renters, hazard pay for direct care workers. You get the gist, but ties $370 million of that money for COVID testing funds to Whitmer agreeing to limit the amount of time state health department edicts can stay in place without legislative approval. In other words, the legislature wants a say in emergency orders, something she is highly unlikely to sign off on.
They've not negotiated with us, which means that I've not signed off on any of the terms in it. It was my hope, as we've been reaching out for weeks, frankly since January, to try to get them to the table so that we could negotiate. We have $5 billion that have been allocated to the state of Michigan, signed into law by President Trump, supported by a bipartisan group of our congressional delegation, and it's gathering dust.
Back here live, that sure sounds like a governor who is ready to use her veto pen. We're live downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald. Back to you.
And then, Mara, if they don't appropriate the money, then what?
Well, if she does veto it, then you have it just sitting there waiting to be spent. And I would suggest that there are going to be a number of recipients, like schools, like businesses, that would say, we really need this money. So let's see what happens next week. Back to you.
We sure will. All right, Mara. Despite the pandemic, Stellantis workers in the UAW are going to be getting bigger profit-sharing checks this year.
43,000 workers will receive just over $8,000. That's up from the more than $7,200 that Fiat Chrysler workers received last year. FCA merged with the PSA Group, officially becoming Stellantis in January. Workers should expect their payments on the 15th. GM extends temporary shutdowns at 3 of its North American plants due to a global semiconductor chip shortage.
One of the impacted plants, the Fairfax plant in Kansas, which makes the Chevy Malibu and the Cadillac XT4 SUV. Another plant is the Cami plant in Canada, which builds the Equinox. The last plant on the list, San Luis Potosi, which is in Mexico. That plant builds the Equinox, the Trax, and the Terrain. But this chip problem grows and grows.
Yeah. Much more to come on a Wednesday. Let's check in with Ben.
Beautiful afternoon, guys. Temperatures in the 50s, but you can already start to see what's going on. 39 in Port Huron. We'll look at the big changes coming tonight. Next.
All right, Ben, also the ATF says the crime wasn't too hard to catch, how a music video landed a local rapper behind bars. Doc?
CDC director pleading with Americans tonight as more states lift restrictions. I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Coming up, why health officials are begging each of us and our leaders not to let up now.
But first, an Indiana man charged with murder in Wayne County, and prosecutors say he used online dating apps to target a very specific type of victim. That's next.